Welcome to my messy desk. I mean, you don't know it's messy because I scooched it all off for you, but trust me, it's a mess because I have had a lot of fun playing with this stamp set that I got. And I wanted to make a card with you using the rest of the bits and pieces that I have because I've learned a few things along the way regarding it, and I thought I would share, and you can use it probably with other stamp sets too, but I am using the Sophisticated Sleds. This is by Stampin' Up. I will have the Stampin' Up link provided for you in my profile if you're interested. And I used the stamp set itself as well as the coordinating dies. So what I did was this time, I wasn't quite sure how these all would work together. So I layered out all of the dies on a piece of paper, white cardstock that was about this size, and they all fit almost perfectly. And I ran it through my die cut machine, and it gave me these these wonderful die cuts. Some of them you can stamp on, and some of them you don't. So I'm going to share with you a combo. So the first card that I made, I used stamps, the ones that I stamped. So I did a die cut and then I stamped on them, right? So that's the first card that I made. And then I used some really pretty snowflakes on it as well. And I did the dimension adhesive, this right here. It is the, sorry, my hands are too full. Stampin' Dimensionals in the white on this one. And I used our alcohol markers to color it in. So these were the die cuts and then the stamped image on the die cut. All right. This one was this was a die cut in the background. I love this die cut. So it was in three pieces. This piece, a piece back here you can't really see, and then the base. And so I die cut that all out, did not stamp anything, and then I went ahead and die cut out this image, stamped it, and then I colored it in. I added some glitter to it. This was a die cut piece, love this piece. I inked it and then I put on some stickles and I just kind of spread it out. And then again, I added some of those dimensional snowflakes. Really like this. So lots of variation with this set. So for this one, I decided to use the last couple stamps that I have. This is a card base I found accidentally on Stampin' Up website. I really like them. They come, I believe there are 5 cards, and they were like $5. So they were, and it's card and envelope. I think that they're super cute, perfect for this. But for this, we're gonna go ahead and make our own card from it. So what I did first was I took a piece of 8.5 by 11 paper, cut it down the middle. So I had 2 sheets that were like this, rotated it, scored it. Now I have a perfect A2. Gonna set this off to the side because I'm going to be using this as my card front, this white one. This is a piece that has been cut down 5.25 by 4, so it'll be a perfect frame. I'm going to be using a combination of the stamps and dies. So these are the stamped and the die of this. This was just the die. It was a buildable. I thought it was so cute. One thing, if you end up getting this set, is the laces actually tuck. See how it tucks back there? I didn't realize that at first. That's why this one's a little messy, but I'm going to camouflage that with some glitter. And so it tucks back like that and it looks perfect. And I just used some alcohol markers in black to color that in. And that's a piece, that's a piece, that's a piece. Okay, so there we go. And then I'm going to use also the little cardinal on this as well. But before we get into that, I need to go ahead and get my background done. So I'm going to use some stencils on this and some multi-medium texture paste is what I want. First up, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my Misti to hold this down. I'm not going to use it to stamp because this type of stamp I want to be random, and it would be way more annoying to have to, you know, lift it up and reposition it. So I want to add some snowflakes, and I am going to use this beautiful blue as part of this. I am going to stamp some of this off of the card just because it's more pleasing to the eye if some of it comes off of the card. So that's why I'm doing that. Now the reason why I'm not just doing this on my glass mat is because it needs a cushion since it's a clear stamp. It's not a rubber stamp, so there's no cushion there. And this just gives me that cushion that I need. Okay, so 2, 3, 4. I need to do, we'll do one more right there in the middle, and that's gonna be good with that. Now we're gonna move into our stenciling, and I'm going to use the pine trees for this, and I'm going to do the first 2 layers with Shy Shamrock and Granny Apple Green. I'll show that to you in just a moment. So let me lay this out here. These line up. So this is the last one we're going to apply. It is C. That one is A, so that'll be the first one. This is B, and this is A. So I'm going to apply those in that order, and the notches on the side can help me if I choose to let them. That's my choice on if I'm going to or not. I think in this case, what I want to do is I'm starting off with Granny Apple Green, and I am going to offset this just a little bit. And I am gonna go ahead and use those notches. So what I wanna do is I wanna take some washi tape and just lay out, actually, no, this sticks. I can do this, haha. This fabulous matte sticks. So this will work better for what I wanna do here. So I wanna take and I'm gonna position this. I'm only gonna do one of these trees, I think. So let me position this more this way, okay? And I think I'm gonna do the tree. I like it about there. So I'm going to line up this first one. On this line, like so, okay? And then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just going to dab this in, just like this. And I'm totally fine with the snowflakes in the background popping through. That's okay with me. I kind of like it. All right, so I'm just dabbing that through, darkening it up by dabbing it in. It's kind of important when you're working with such an intricate die, stencil, that you don't go rubbing crazy because you can flip some of that up. I may have done that on the other tree by accident because, you know, it's been a while since I've done this, so just be careful with that. All right, I like that, so we're gonna call that one good. Now I'm gonna go ahead and pull out my Shy Shamrock, line up my B stencil on top of what we just did. Slide, flip, okay. So now I'm looking for B, and I'm gonna do third line up and over, just like that. Right, so it's going to be glitter from my, okay, so there we go. All right, so for this one, Shy Shamrock, same thing. I'm just gonna kind of bounce it on. Bouncing it on. And then if I want it darker, of course, I'm just popping it back on through to make sure I have a really good coverage. Just like that. All right, now from here, we are going to use some textured metallic paste in it's textured paste metallic white. This is by Ranger. You can find this at the Ranger store or on scrapbook.com. Not sure if Stampin' Up! Carries it or not. You know, I'm a big fan of one-stop shopping, but I'll post all three of the links down below for you. Stampin' Up!, Ranger, and then also scrapbook.com. So you can find any of this that you would like. All right, so this one, we're gonna do, and this mimics snow. Kind of wanted to try like some blue trees at some point. Thought that would be kind of cool. Okay. I want to be careful not to get any of this on my MISTI. Now, this ink is still wet, so it is a dye ink, which means that once it dries, it will go ahead and be permanent because it just has to dye the paper and dry. Think about when you dye your clothes. The dye can dye your hands when it's still wet, but once it's dry, usually, it is done. It's permanent. That's kind of what dye ink is. That's what makes it different than a water-based ink. But it still can move right now because it has not saturated entirely into the paper. So I am doing this rather carefully. And I have extra up here. I do like to try to save this, so I am trying to wipe off as much excess as I can as I go along here. All right, I think I did a pretty decent job at that. Make sure that when you reseal this, you kind of scrape down your edges. Otherwise, you do run the risk of sealing it shut because this is a glue as well. So be careful with that. And you're going to want to wash this as soon as you pull it up because it will set onto your stencil. And that's not a bad thing because that's going to give that some time to dry. So I'm going to take this over to the sink and wash everything I just used, and then I will come back and finish up this card. But for you, it's just going to be instantaneously because, you know, I'm going to edit it out and make it seamless. I'm going to add some Distress ink to the bottom. I realize that this looks like this tree's floating, so I want to ground it just a little bit. I like the white in the background, so I am just going to build a little bit of a base here. Even though my idea was to do some three-dimensional off of this, and I'm still going to do that, but I have an idea. So it just kind of came to me. That's how I usually work. It just kind of comes to me. So for this, what I want to do is I just want to go in actually with my darkest first. And that's going to be Uncharted Marine. Sorry, I'm thinking here. I am pretty much just using what I have on hand. I'm not gonna freak out and you know, get upset because I don't have the perfect blue or the perfect gray. You know, I'm rebuilding my stash, and I'm just gonna make what I have work, and we're just gonna call it good like that. So that's what my thought is on this. I do want this area over here to be somewhat darker. All right. Next up, I'm gonna do Salty Ocean. And this may not, I don't necessarily want it to look like snow or the ground. I just want it to suggest some kind of grounding. We'll see how far I get on this. You may be sitting there going, oh, Bets, you've really lost your mind now. And that very well could be. So we'll just see here. Okay, and then I'm just gonna take my salvage patina and finish that off. And I may have to pull the rest of it through. I'm not sure yet. I don't know how I feel about this. But you know what? For me, all my art is always just a whole bunch of, that didn't exactly go how I planned. I guess I'll just have to make it work. It's like, whoops, oh well, moving on. Okay. Part of my problem too is because, oh, that's pretty dry. Okay, good. Then I'm not gonna worry about it too much. I was a little bit worried that the textured paste was still wet, but it is not. It is nice and dry. Okay, so I am gonna have to bring this up. Just like that. Just gonna bring it on up. And that's okay. And in. Okay, I like it. I kind of got some swirlies in there. I'm gonna go over one more time with my dark one. Around the edges, just like that. Okay. All right. I think I'm pretty good with that background now. I know that this is super dark on the bottom, and so I'm just gonna hit it with a little bit of water. I always love how that looks, the little droplets. I think it's so pretty. All right, I'm going to let this set up a little bit, clean up my space, then we'll finish up this card. I decided to add some gloss spray, splat it on. 2, because you know, why not? All right. Okay, so now I'm going to finish the card. All right, let me set this aside for a minute here. Beauty of working on a glass mat is this kind of stuff, if it were to dry, you just have to take a razor to it and it will come right up. So that's super cool. Like right down there, it already started to dry. So literally my nail is removing it, but a razor will take care of it, which is fantastic. Okay. So moving forward, what we're going to do now is I want to take this and I'm actually going to build a little bit of an image here. I think I want to do these on the bottom here, and then I want to put my cute little cardinal just like sitting in it. So I'm going to adhere this first one with a little bit of glue. The next one I'm going to add with the mini Stampin' Dimensional, because I want it to house my birdie. So I'm going to kind of use the birdie. I'm going to kind of use this as a little birdie nest. But we're going to make a wintry birdie nest. Okay, so that's going to go there. Then I'm going to take dimensional pieces, and I'm going to pop this one on. This one was the ugly one. Well, you know what I mean. I'm going to pop this one on like so. All right, and then I'm going to take my little birdie and I'm just going to place him right there. So I'm just going to use a little bit of glue. Man, I tell you what, I live in the dry desert and it just, it dries so fast, which is great for stuff like this, because I've had other friends that have been creating in other parts of the country and world, and it takes forever sometimes, it seems, for their stuff to dry, like days sometimes for paint, depending on the humidity, and I don't ever have that problem here. Like within minutes everything is dry. Okay, so this little guy is gonna go just like that. And now I am going to see if this is done and ready. Almost, I have that up there that's still a little bit wet because it's a big blob. So what I can do now is, let me just get my card base kind of ready here. So I like to ink the edges. And I like to always use black just because it's a nice grounding color. And we're gonna do this little sentiment, yay all the way. When I was stamping my images, I took some scrap cardstock that I had strips of, and I just stamped all the images and all the sentiments. The sentiments are the stamped images that I don't end up using. I just throw them in here. I love these little cases that can hold everything, so I'm ready to go next time. Okay, so for this one, I am gonna go ahead and ink the edges. I did do that darker blue, and so I'm just gonna do a slight hint. I'm not gonna go real crazy on it like I have been known in the past, because I want this to pretty much just stay right there on the edge, just like that. All right, I think that this is dry enough where we can start to assemble. So I'm gonna take my adhesive runner, and you don't have to use as much adhesive as I do. I kind of want to burn through this because it's not my favorite. So that's why I'm using so much. Pop open your card so you can make sure you line it up perfect. The reason why I chose a pink background for this is because I wanted it to match my cute little skates. Okay, so from here I'm just going to add this, and I think I'm going to use the mini dimensionals again for this. Actually, I can use the regular size. I love these. So they're so smart because they're in the honeycomb format, so nothing goes to waste. And the edges, wouldn't that be awesome for like a shaker card? Oh, talk about easy. It's just, this is just so smart. Or you can like cut it, break it down. That works too. All right, I want it to stay nice and popped on all sides here. We're not done though. Even after this, we are not done. There's still, I want to add some glitter. I want to add, or some stickles. I want to add some liquid pearls on it, and I also want to add some white snowflakes. So I still have a lot of work left to do on this. So we're gonna pop this one right about here. I'm gonna put it up, I think I like it up high like that. And then this, yay all the way. Yeah, I'm gonna do that at the base of that tree. That'll solve my problem that I thought I had. I do like it with that blue though. All right. On a whole bunch of adhesive there. Yay, all the way right here. And now I'm gonna go in first with my white snowflakes. And I'm gonna add a couple of these. So I'm gonna do one. That one's a little bit big for that spot, so let's do him right about there. And I think we can do this one right about there. And we'll do a little one right in here. Tweezers would be great. Something else I need to add to my list of things that I need eventually, but not today. Okay, I think I like that. Now I want to pop on my liquid glass, excuse me, my liquid pearls. Just like this. Right. And finally, oh no, not finally, I want to do a little bit of this green. So I'm going to have to kind of spread this green out because it is definitely green. If it was clear, I'd be a little bit more generous with it, but just want it to give some pretty sparkle. Random here and there on each leaf, right? And then finally I'm going to add on some of this. This is just stuff that I had in my stash. It's scrapbook.com. Honestly, not my favorite thing I've used. I much prefer Stickles. I think Stickles dries better and flatter, but this, you know, this will work for what we're trying to do here. All right. There we go. So, cute little card. Love it. Made with sophisticated sled. And so for these 3 cards, I'll show them all to you. I only ran the die cuts once, each of them once, and I stamped each image once, and I was able to get 3 cards. I think that they're super cute. All right. If you want anything that I used, I have it listed for you down below. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them for me down below. And if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, I certainly hope that you consider doing so. Until next time, happy crafting.